October 12th, 2021 at 6:04. I guess we'll start off with the pledge of allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I see it on my I guess the first thing would be if there are any changes or additions to the agenda.
I do not have any.
Anne Marie, can I add, just want to set up community forum date?
Oh, okay. But that would be a survey update, like right after that.
Oh,
Yeah,
it would be part of the ESER 3 update, yes.
Can you tell me what board members are there? Because I'm not seeing the board members.
Mark is here. Anne
I
is
saw
here.
Mark.
Okay. And
Jamie.
Jamie, sorry, I'm just like so like frazzled running in here. Jamie, and we're expecting Jackie and Kristen to show up late.
Okay, so Jamie. Thanks.
Jamie, Ann, and Mark.
Let's see. Yep. So no one else has anything to add that's not on the agenda? Okay. Go on to our next thing, which is approval of the minutes for September 15th. Did anyone have a chance to read them over? Anyone want to make a motion to approve?
Make a motion to approve the minutes.
Okay, so Mark made the motion and Jamie seconded. All in favor, say aye. Aye. It's unanimous. Next, we have public participation announcements. Did anyone here today want to say anything? Okay, I guess we'll go on then to our principal's report.
Thank you. All right. There we go. So welcome to our lead learner report for October 12th, 2021. So today we're going to be doing things a little bit differently. We have some guests here to share in some of their learning and share in mental health as well. So first off, our 7th grade science students were creating a nature center. So they had a project-based learning project where they were going to be working on, they had to do a proposal to the Wethersfield town about there was a 6-acre lot that needed some repair, and they wanted to be able to to create a nature center there. So the students had this process, they had teams and they worked together. And so Dr. Baker and I were able to experience the first group today, and then BJ and I were able to judge the second group. We worked with the town as well, and Brandon, thank you, was at the last minute had to cancel because he had an illness in his family and didn't want to spread anything here at the school, which we appreciate that. But we do have a couple of our representatives here from some of our students, some of our 7th graders who will be presenting today. So first off, we have Warner and Tegan. You guys ready? Okay, come on up here.
Yeah.
Would you like us to stand?
And if it's easier for you to pull the mask down during the presentation, feel free. It's up to you.
You guys can stand wherever you're comfortable, and I
Yeah,
know
that's
it
good
feels a
right
little
here.
bit weird having hold on, it's opening up. Having your back to some people, but you'll present, and you're presenting up there to the board, okay?
Okay.
All right, just nice and loud, and you do have a virtual audience as well. All right, no pressure, guys.
Loaded.
There we go.
There we go.
Hello, my name is Warner. Tegan and I represent DCW. Here's our proposal for the planned Weathersfield Nature Center from a developmental viewpoint.
Developmental viewpoint is the belief that we should make our buildings to benefit human needs and think that the Earth's resources should be used to the fullest extent.
Here's what we imagine our nature center will look like. We have an outside and indoor view.
This is our Nature Center logo, sponsored by DCW.
And this is our site plan. At the top, we have a hotel, a sporting field, and a nature center. These will all be like for people to stay and have fun activities in. Then we have a plaza for people to like dine and enjoy themselves. We have a swimming pool to the right of that for people to like just go and have a fun activity. And then we also have a movie theater. Yeah, swimming pool.
Our three major costs for this project is 1, a hotel for people to stay at if they're going to visit our nature center. 2, there would be a movie theater for people to stop and enjoy themselves. And 3, there'd be our nature center for people to learn about different types of nature and animals.
For the benefits of this project, this building you have paid for will be very beneficial. The hotel will be a job offer for many and make money off the people staying there. The movie theater will be a fun activity for people to go and maybe they will stay at the hotel after the movie. The public swimming pool will offer children and adults to enjoy themselves for a quick swim. People also might go to the nature center, being our main idea of this project.
The DCW rated themselves a 2 for our scenic value. For our economic and recreational value, we rated ourselves a 5. Our ecological value, we rated ourselves a 3, and our health value, we rated ourselves a 2.
Why our plan should be your main prospect. We believe that ours is the best because we have many places for people to work, sleep, and enjoy themselves. All of these buildings would be very beneficial for human needs. Many people would either come to the nature center or the plaza or the swimming pool, the movie theater or the movie theater. That's what the point of the hotel would be for all the people to use either before or after during the time they spend at each entertainment place. Our nature center would be filled with trees, plants, animals, and history, all for all of them to learn. We think you would love this site plan and trust us. It is very profitable.
At the end.
Okay. Yep, that's it. Do you guys have any questions? So that's our first group. And then okay, for the next presentation, we have Logan and Jacoby. Oops. Okay, sorry, that's my mistake. Yeah. Go. There we go. Okay, so Logan and Jacoby, you guys up?
Come on this side of the table. Yeah, that's perfect. Perfect.
I'm Logan Martas, and this is Jacoby Allen, and we are the Paradise Pavers. Welcome. The Paradise Pavers, aka Quadruple L, would like to thank you for taking the time to look at our proposal. We would like to make Weathersfield a nature center so that the people here could get closer to the outdoors. We would also like to show you what we are planning to do. We want to clean up the ruins and shrink the parking lot. We want to add a river with a dam. We want to invest in putting up a solar field by using 1 acre of the land, which could make on average 24,000 kilowatt hours. Put up a hydroelectric dam that will produce 100 kilowatts to 10 megawatts of electricity a day. One of the biggest things that will be added is a large aviary with birds inside of it. This can also draw people from all over the U.S., which could help the community and bring jobs to the town of Weathersfield. This is our logo, and that is our lake, and we are also from the developmental viewpoint.
So they had two viewpoints. They either had to be developmental or conservation. Three. Oh, or
Developmental, preservation, or conservation.
thank you. See, let them answer the question. So they know more than I do.
what we do as the Paradise Papers. Well, we pave paradise for the benefit of humans. We matter more than the creatures and plants that habitat paradise, therefore our power and resources come first. After all, our motto is living life, living longer. We must live our life to the fullest. Of course, the animals and vegetation matter too, but humans come first. You are our top priority.
How we benefit? First off, admission to our museum / or two of our factories free for anyone ages 1, 2, and 3. Ages 4 through 12 is $5, $8 per person for the age of 13 through 17. Anyone 18 plus is $10 per person. We have a gift shop for merchandise, gadgets, and toys. About $1 to swim in our pond. We also have paths that lead to a massive dome with birds, water fountain, plants, and flowers. Also little bugs and ground animals such as worms, beetles, squirrels, and other local wildlife.
Okay, our plan as Living Life, Living Longer Nature Center. We want to produce power for the homes of Weathersfield. We have a hydroelectric dam to produce this power. We also have 1 acre entirely of solar panels.
This is the 3D model. Don't click on the link to the other side. The link takes too long to load.
Technicality.
Seriously.
Change 2 fingers to move on. This bit.
Hook that up.
This one.
And then, can you turn us to the front, please? No. Yeah. Yes, this is the front of our nature center. The reason why we didn't do a image is because we wanted a very specific design, and we believe that this will help benefit us as well as you to be able to see exactly what we want.
We don't have any interior designs yet.
That's coming.
Yeah.
All right,
Perfect.
so go back.
This is our site plans. We have 3 bathrooms dotted around the 6-acre plot, 3 snack shacks, the butterfly dome, the man-made dam, the parking lot, the nature center, museum, and gift shop are all combined into one, so that you walk through the nature center, through the museum, and finally to a gift shop. We have the aviary, and then you can see the lovely solar field. We also added walking trails so that if you're not trying to get to any of the places and you just want a scenic walk, that's where you go.
All right. Cost for employees per year. So museum employees, we only need 1, and we would have to pay them $51,000 a year. For volunteers, we would need around 10 of those. It's free because they're volunteering. Dam workers, we will need 5 of them. That would be a rough $65,000 a year per person. Night watch / security guard, we need 2 of them also. That's $15,000 a year. And cashiers, we would need 2 of them for the gift shop. $8,000 a year, we have to pay them. And the merch shop has a $20,000 budget to make the merch.
Per month.
Yeah, per year.
Because the per year we factored in is per month.
Yeah. And the total cost for employees is $258,171.
That's what you. And also we added in any other expenses for the year. For example, if someone falls into the lengths and sprain their ankles, we have extra money set aside for any lawsuits, or say something goes wrong with the dam or the solar field. We have extra money that could be saved up, and we're able to plan ahead and not have to cut costs to hit those extra expenses. The construction cost, the dam will cost roughly about $3 million to build and takes 5 years to build it. $594,000 to build a large area aviary, $400,000 to expand the museum. Butterfly aviary would be roughly around $5,000. 3 snack shacks would be $66,000. A dock will cost $50,000 to build, and then $60,000 drain the swamp into the dam. So the total is $4,625,000.
Okay, so the pros for our nature center. Around 4 million students come to nature centers / museums a year, like all throughout the U.S. It's powerful the whole town of Wethersfield. It protects exotic birds and butterflies. It's jobs for people, homes for fish in the ponds, enough power to power the neighboring towns. We planted a few trees here and there, and we would eventually make the money back.
The economic value, we rated ourselves as a 5 because we have a solar field as well as a dam. Ecological value is a 4. The aviary, the dam, and the butterfly dome will all provide homes for animals. Health value is a 2 because we're selling junk food and we're not really producing anything good for health. The scenic value is 3 because we have extremely beautiful aviary and we have a butterfly dome. And we gave our recreational value a 3 because we have trails and you could swim in the dam.
All right, how we would make the money back in 10 years or less? Well, about 5,000, roughly around 5,000 people would come just in Windsor County alone, which could make well over $100,000 a year. People would buy merch, which could make around $180,000 a year. We could run the nature center off the solar field, so we would not need to buy power, as well as we could sell 100 million kilowatts a year. We make 1 megawatt every 10 days. Megawatts sell for $800,000 to $1.36 million. The dam could power 750 homes a day.
Why ours is the best. We have the best proposal, and here's why. We have a 3D model so that you can know exactly how we want the nature center to look like. It's a way for it to be self-sustaining. This could also draw people from all over New England. All these people can improve their lives all over the town. People from other towns could see we're here, their families, and see how great the community is, and they can enroll their children into our schools. And also, we'll be able to make the money back tenfold. Thank you.
Ryan, I don't know if you were sharing the screen on that one,
I don't know if I was either.
but that's.
Sorry.
okay. We saw it here, but I'm not sure about the viewing audience.
Sorry, viewing audience.
That's ours.
All
It was
right.
a great PowerPoint. Now you
Okay,
are.
Chloe and Anthony, you guys ready? All right.
Now you got it.
So I'm Anthony Sheridan,
I'm Chloe Brousseau, and we represent Vermont Construction Associates.
and we're from the conservation viewpoint. This is the picture of our nature center. This is how we would envision it.
This is our Nature Center logo. We chose this one because it represents nature, that represents nature well.
And so this is our site plan. And so it has the nature center, an aquarium, an injured animal habitat, a bird and snake habitat, and it has recreational activities like a gift shop, a restaurant, and a playground, and a tennis court. So people can entertain themselves.
This is our cost per entry. So adults 12 and older are $8. Seniors 65 and older are $6.50. Children 2 to 11 are $5, but children under 2 are free.
So we estimate the total cost would be about 4.5 million, and the major costs are going to be that it will take a lot of machinery and time to clean out the 6-acre flooded area. It will also be a lot of money to build it, like the nature center and the aquarium and all the other stuff we have. And it'll take a lot of working connections to bring in the injured animals from different places.
So our benefits for this nature center that we're building is it's a good way to save animals and a good way for humans to learn about them. The nature center will bring a lot of money for the town. It will attract people from other areas to move to Weathersfield, and it will help people get interested in the environment and animals.
And so on the 5 criteria, we rated the economic value of 3, the recreational value of 5, the health value of 4, the ecological value, and scenic value, we rated 5s.
Why us? We think you should pick up our nature center because it will bring animals and humans together, giving people something to do with their life. Be a good habitat for animals that are hurt or need a home. We like our nature center because it is a way that kids and adults can learn about nature. It will also give people something to do with their free time. We thank you for the time to look at our presentation, and thank you for trying to make this happen. Our miles of nature trails provide hours of hiking pleasures to our visitors. Our nature's classroom has helped countless children gain an understanding of the impression of the importance of nature. Each year, we want to strive to get as many people as we can because it will help get the money back to our town. I didn't say this in this one, but we also noticed that we wouldn't want to do a lot more other stuff because it's the town's money. Like people will their taxes would have to go higher. So we are going to try to make it so it's not as much money.
So awesome job. Thank you guys. I appreciate you guys doing it. And so they had the opportunity to present today, which was great. And then, so they had to sort of do it last minute, just because it worked out today that we had a board meeting. And so they got to be able to present today and do it. So I appreciate them being here and being part of our board meeting. So thank you again, guys. Good job. I feel like I have the greatest job where I get to work with kids like this each and every day. So thank you.
Nice.
Thank you very much, guys. Thank you very much.
Nice job, gang.
Thank you.
Well done.
I know, huh? All right. So
Brian, this is Becky. I got Warner and Tegan, Chloe, and who was the other person on that team?
Anthony.
Tiffany.
Anthony.
And then I got Jacoby,
Jacoby.
and Logan. Okay, I got them all. Thanks.
Welcome. Thank you.
And also Jay Villa, who put this whole
Yes,
thing
and then
together.
Mr. Villa, who put this all together for his science class, so we appreciate that, of him being able to do something a little bit different, which is nice. So,
Nice job.
so thank you. All right, so the next off, so last month it was all about videos. This month it's in person. Okay, so it's live. So next I have our wonderful Elizabeth Smith, who's our clinician from HCRS. So she's going to speak a little bit. I'm going to switch spots with her right here. So you can just stand up there and talk. That way I'm behind you guys.
So I'm Elizabeth Smith. I am the school-based clinician. I am employed through HCRS, which is the local community mental health agency for Windsor and Windham counties. We're lucky enough to have contracts with our local schools and be able to be embedded in the school building, which is great. I did take some notes because I'm really awful at staying on track, so don't mind me. So my primary role is to support the students here in addressing any of the barriers that might be impacting their ability to access their education. Some of them oftentimes have some struggles at home as well. And so it's a really good opportunity for me to meet them where they're at. A lot of the students that I see are kiddos who may not otherwise be able to get to a clinic setting. So we do have outpatient supports at HCRS as well. And we have a lot of kiddos who are able to go there or meet virtually. But I think one of the really special pieces of a school-based clinician role is that we get to meet with the students right here. and have that captive audience. So the school here has been really great at supporting that as well, making time for them to step out and meet with me. So some of the things that I do with them is just support more meaningful relationships, whether it's with peers, teachers, their family members. I really try to encourage self-determination, advocacy, and empowerment. A lot of the kiddos that I work with really struggle with a lot of those things. I really base a lot of my work on the ARC model. I don't know if anybody is familiar with that. It's attachment, self-regulation, and competency. So it's a framework that really works with children with trauma history, and also brings in their caregiver support system and tries to work with kind of the team to address those issues. Another big part of my role is to liaise with the school staff, and then if there are child protection or any other resources available, we can also refer them to family therapy. So I do try to touch base with the families and include them in a lot of the support that I'm providing, but I don't do any of the family therapy. So that is an option for them as well, and I can refer to that. I can also help connect them to case management, and then I also am able to be a little bit flexible in how I spend my time with them. So it's primarily individual therapy. We also have what's community support. So if a kiddo really struggles to sit through an individual therapy session, which many of them do, then I can tag along at recess, I can shadow them in the classroom, and I can sort of model some of that behavior for them that they may be struggling with. So there are ways to be flexible, which I'm finding really helpful, especially in a school setting, a K through 8 school setting where I've got a full range of kiddos that I'm working with. And then I also use a lot of play-based therapy, narrative therapy, helping them to sort of tell their story, change their story, and just kind of be the leader in their own lives. So that is sort of my goal, is to help empower them.
We're glad to have you.
Yeah, thank you. Does anyone have questions about the services? I feel like that was a pretty quick overview.
How many days are you in the building?
Yeah, so I am in this building 3 days a week, and then I'm at Albert Bridge 2 days a week. We could use 1 and 1, but we're working with what we've got.
One day.
How are students, chosen to be part of the program? Is it by like your recommendation or?
Yeah, so they're primarily special education students, and their referrals go through Melissa, the school counselor. We have some spaces for some gen ed kiddos, and so those ones would just go through Melissa. She makes the referral, and then I reach out to the family and get them opened up. Yeah, so it's a pretty good mix right now.
Thank you, Elizabeth, for coming. I appreciate it. So thank you very much. All right, Leader and me talked a little bit about it last month. I had a song for you. Do not have a song because we decided instead of doing individual songs every month, Zach's going to go ahead and do a song for the whole, all 7 habits. So we are starting to work on action teams, and then Ms. Cole has been using her SEL time to be working with Leader and me in the classroom. So you're going to start hearing about students being more proactive and working on that. So we're going slow, we go fast. Okay, quarantine update, because I know that's on your mind. Okay?
Really?
Let's just get it out there. All right, so knock on wood someplace, knock, knock, knock. We have not had to quarantine anybody for the last couple of weeks, which has been good. It was a little rough there for a while. So we've had no new exposures. Attendance numbers have increased and are stabilizing out, which is nice. And then all students were able to return, are eligible to return as of today. So we've had all but a couple because some parents did hold their students out for the 14-day quarantine period, which is good. So things seem to have settled. Hopefully. So we'll keep that, our fingers crossed. All right, again, working together with the town. So we met with Hamilton Gillette. I talked a little bit about that last time, but he came out here and I learned quite a bit. BJ and I were out there. We learned quite a bit about composting, probably more than I ever wanted to know, but it's gotten us to be able to compost a little bit at home. And so I never realized that you have to add brown material, so leaves. So because at home, Back in California, I was not adding brown materials. I mean, we had brown materials, grass, but we didn't have leaves in California. Palm fronds didn't really count. But so he was talking about having to do that and mix it in and do all those things. So Mrs. Small's class, the third grade classroom, is going to be taking it over, and they're doing, we've set up a follow-up meeting for him to go over the next steps with those students. So composting, we have that great composting area over there. He was impressed with it, so we're gonna go further with that. All right, so I did meet with Brandon Gulnick about school-town partnership and working together. We had that item set up for today, but then he had to cancel the last minute because he had an illness in his family. I met with DeForest Beers on the Town Veterans Day celebration. I did not know we did a Town Veterans Day celebration. And you're looking at the guest speaker right here. So I get to do, when BJ told me about it, she said originally it was gonna be a 5-minute speech. When I talked to DeForest, she said it was about 15 minutes. So I'm not really sure I can talk for 15 minutes, but I will try my best. So on November 11th at 11 o'clock, if anybody has time, meet us over there at the town square and we can do that. Been having a monthly conversation with Chief Spalding regarding fire safety to make sure that we are following the fire safety guidelines that they've set up through the town of Weathersfield. And then our second grade classes are taking a virtual tour of the fire department on Thursday. So speaking of fire safety, so here are some first grade students that were doing a safety scavenger hunt on fire safety. So they went through and they noticed how many smoke alarms, fire extinguishers, exit signs, fire alarms. They went through and they tallied it up, so they made it into a scavenger hunt with a math activity as well. Sprinkler system. We've also done bus evacuation drill. Students participated in evacuation drills. This was a new thing for me because in California we did not have buses. So students didn't have to get off the bus in California because we didn't have buses. But the students were really great. BJ's got them really well trained as far as getting on and off the bus. And it was like clockwork the way students were able to go through and get off the bus. And then the older kids, it's really great. Just take ownership and make sure that the younger ones get to where they need to get. And then we did have a fire drill last Friday. And it was like 2 minutes and 18 seconds. The entire school was out there. You could hear a pin drop. So it was amazing how quiet and quickly the kids got out. There wasn't really any jam ups as far as the hallways, because we do have a lot of kids trying to come down this stairs or these stairs, but everybody just flew. Everything flowed out there and went out really nicely and smoothly, so it was great. Sports at Weathersfield is alive and well. I had just gotten back from a cross-country meet before coming to the meeting, but I had to go home and wash off my hands because I didn't realize there was a lot of poison ivy out there today. We were in Springfield, and so made the kids take a shower and everything. They were all sweaty anyway, so it was probably good that they did. But yeah, there's poison ivy everywhere out there, so if I start itching, it's just because it's psychosomatic, and I'm thinking that I'm going to be dying from poison ivy here real soon. So the kids, soccer's going on. That's Jessica, our athletic director, and there's some of the kids from cross country. Everybody's having a great time. It's nice to be out there with the kids and be able to see them participate in sports. So we talked a little bit last time about the Weathersfield School mission, vision, and core values. We did meet with the staff prior to the board meeting last month. And so here's some of the information they came up with. They broke up into 4 different teams, and they were able to come up with some different ideas. So this one team actually came up with a mission and vision statement, and by creating a safe and welcoming sanctuary of learning, the students of Weathersfield School will become creative, active, and effective members of our community. Positive communal change will come from our youth. Their core values: safety, community, welcoming, and perseverance. And the vision was to be a guiding, positive, impactful force on our students. That was one group. It's always nice how different people feel. Somebody else, another group came up with, we feel it is important to be innovative and relevant. We feel we should build a sense of community and independence. We feel there should be collaboration among staff and students. There should be community involvement. We feel teaching perseverance and integrity are important, and we feel staff should be treated as professionals. This group just came up with a list. I always love lists. Autonomy, individuality, choice, high expectations, high achievement, collaboration, community of learners, service, community participation and involvement, integrity, welcoming, clear vision, sense of place, inform and educate, exposed to wider world, create lifelong learners to inspire. And then this one for mission and vision, we threw out ideas but had difficulty consolidating or focusing in. That's an honest answer. I appreciate that. Some of the ideas we threw out were growth mindset, whole child, unique, compassion, and something about independence and creating citizens. And then they felt that the portrait of the graduate attributes are communicator, collaborator, ethical, and global citizen, creative and critical thinker, and goal-directed and resilient individual. And promoting these skills enhance student services or student success pre-kindergarten and beyond. So they felt that needs to be included within our mission, vision, and core values. So those are some ideas. So it's sort of a mix of ideas right now. So the teachers and the staff gave some input. We're also going to start sharing with the students, and we are going to have a community opportunity for our community to input. And then I definitely want to talk to the board a little bit about your input as well before we come up and be able to wordsmith it and make it be the perfect one. So that's still our timeline. So between this month and next month, we will be getting student input as well as community input. We'll finalize with staff and then get your guys' input as well before we do a formal presentation to the school board, hopefully in December. Okay, upcoming events. Red Ribbon Week, October 25th to 29th. So does everybody know what Red Ribbon Week is? So Red Ribbon Week is basically the week of saying no to drugs and substance abuse. So it's where students and staff make that commitment to say that we are saying no to drugs. It's something we did back in California all the time, and we make it a little bit more fun than just saying say no to drugs. Kids will be wearing red ribbons that week or red wristbands. There's opportunities for them to wear prizes to show that they're wearing those and having that commitment. And then they're also going to have Spirit Day. So it's a fun opportunity to do Spirit Days. We have not shared this with the entire staff yet. So, but Melissa and I were working on it with BJ and Carrie. Well, now I have. So that's coming out in a flyer. But the students will get different opportunities, and there'll be themes for each day. I believe one of the days off the top of my head is like Sock It to Drugs Day, so you wear silly socks that day. So like I wear my banana socks today. So those type of things will be happening. So it's an opportunity for all students to get a little bit more involved in the school and have fun with also doing a serious message. Virtual coffee with a lead learner, October 27th is coming up. We had our first one on that last Wednesday of the month. Jackie was there. I had a group of four different people, including Jackie. And it was a nice opportunity to just really have a discussion with some families here in our school. And we talked about a variety of different things, from pick up and drop off, and different ways to do that. We talked about if there's a vegetarian option for lunch, which there is. And then also we talked about pause, and pause originally being more of an enrichment activity rather than a place to house students after school or before school. So we talked about some of those things and some ideas on how to come up with some other things that we could do. And so we're having another one on the 27th. If you have time, you're at work, whatever, just put it on, listen to me. I talk a lot, hold a cup of coffee, whatever. Just not sure if I talk enough for 15 minutes. Picture Day was bumped to November 3rd because of our quarantining. We wanted to make sure that all students had that opportunity. Parent-teacher conferences are happening November 4th and 5th. And once more, another plug for me in the Veterans Day celebration is on November 11th, to be able to be there and be part of that. All right? Any questions for me? And if you haven't followed me on Twitter yet, some of you have, some of you haven't. I've been slacking a little bit, but I will go ahead and just share this for you so you guys have all that information. Yes?
Quick question on that.
Yes.
Are you still doing where students go and they play?
I'm talking to Zach Shambo about that to see what we can do, because when I talked to her before, she was excited about that. Zach was out on Friday when I met with her, and so we'll make sure to talk a little bit to see if we can have some discussion. So we do have a school day that day. Yes.
I just have to commend you on like working with the town, and I just think it was really cool. You know, I feel like we wanted to bridge that gap, and I feel like it's already gotten off to a really awesome start.
Thank you, I appreciate it. Yeah, I'm working on it because I'm part of this town too, and I want to be. I'm all in, like I told you guys back then. I'm all in, and we're in it together, and so whatever, we can make it strong. And I felt honored to be chosen to be a speaker. I was like, really? Okay. So 15 minutes, that scares me. So, but thank you though, I appreciate that.
You can make
so,
it 10.
I'm hoping so. But I don't know, I go on and talk, so we'll see. But, all right, so thank you guys very much. So I'm gonna go ahead and exit out of this then.
Good work.
Thank you. Next up is the superintendent.
Yeah, and Brian, let's start. I know I sent the financials out, the quarterly financials.
I'm gonna start with that.
Why don't we start with that real quickly?
We want to save that for the budget, or you want to?
Well, this really doesn't, the budget presentation is going to be about next year's budget.
Year, okay.
This is this year's budget and where we landed as of September 30th, right? So I think this is probably okay. I don't know if we can make that a little bit bigger, Brian.
Yeah, let me make sure I'm sharing it.
Yeah, you are. You are.
You are saying that?
Yeah. Just a if you want to hit that little magnifying glass, it might make it grow a little bit. There's really no magic here. We're early in the year, right? Yeah, there you go. Nice.
There we go.
So the top part of this that you're looking at right now is the revenue side. Revenues, we always sort of encumber at 100% pretty much. If we know something's going to be a little short, we might make some of that difference. But essentially, revenues are going to come in as we projected revenues to come in. That might change a little bit as we get further down the line. If you want to scroll down just a little bit, Brian, the expenditures are next, right? So, so the expenditures, you can see with the wages and benefits, which is the largest part of your budget, essentially, Ed again tends to encumber to as best as possible to budget, but we also know that there are some positions that didn't get hired. We were all aware of that, and so that's probably why you're seeing that year-to-date budget of just under 90% expended. Tuition, I know that BJ's right there. BJ, give me down a little bit under expenditures. That's the other piece that was under budget. Tuition essentially is going to come in pretty much after Lori and BJ have been talking a lot about it. It's going to pretty much come in on the money. I wouldn't count the big savings in tuition right now, and I think that's essentially what Ed did is he encumbered to about 96% of what was budgeted. So to make a long story short, if we take the projected revenue, subtract the projected expenditures, right now, and again, it's early, we have a surplus of $372,926. But you saw what happened last year, right? As the year goes on, that surplus can shrink a little bit. So I don't know if anybody had any questions on this financial statement, but it's early in the year, and again, a lot of it is projection and not actual. So that's important to remember. We good? Okay. I want to tell you that we are still in negotiations. Jackie's working hard with the other board members right now. We finished up a mediation session that did not end up successful. We hoped it would. We left the door open for more mediation. And right now, I think a representative, the UNICEF director of the Vermont NEA is meeting with our attorney, and they're trying to see whether or not if we're able to come back to the table. We'd rather settle it within rather than have to go to fact finding or some other process of settling the contract. But I will tell you, and I'm sure the staff will tell you, that not having a contract adds to a little bit of the anxiety, the stress level, and needless to say, with our COVID conditions and the negotiations, it's been difficult. We will start negotiating with our support staff probably within the next couple of weeks. We have a meeting, I think, Jackie, right? I think it's this week, right? Maybe on Thursday, to just get prepared for that negotiation as we go forward. COVID issues, Brian covered them pretty well. You know, the quarantining has, knock on wood, as he said, find wood somewhere, but has subsided a bit. The vaccination rates are increasing. We still have a whole host of kids that are not eligible for vaccines. We're being told that somewhere around the end of October, early November, that vaccines will become available for students between the ages of 5 and 11. If that's the case, we'll jump right on that. We're working again with the Springfield office of the Vermont Department of Health to see if we can do some school-based vaccination clinics. We have set up a centralized booster vaccination site. I think I reported that in my email blast last week. That'll be at Windsor on 4 separate dates. You have to pre-register for that, but it's nice to try to get that as proximate to us as possible and to try to get as many people to get their booster as possible. So again, I just hats off to all of our school nurses, medical professionals, Mount Scottney Hospital that could see the need to get those PCR tests back more quickly, so they opened up a site for testing and getting the PCR results back. So we have a lot of local resources and people that are really helping us. And I'll take questions at the end. I'm just trying to get through this little list here. The SU budget, again, Jamie is your representative. She's been working with us. We've had 3 meetings. We're gonna have a 4th one coming up here in another week or so. We are just about there. It hasn't been an easy slug. I will give credit to not only the budget committee, but Larry Dow, who's helping to put it together. Katie Ahern, special ed director, who has the largest line share of the budget. She's been working really hard to try to get it to a place where it's palatable and the expenses don't go up as much as they have in the past. And the same thing with the assessments that they also don't go up as much as they have in the past. But it's hard. I mean, we're basically servicing, 1,400 kids, almost 300 staff, and 3 separate school districts. So, but I feel confident that the budget we present on October 25th to the full SU board will have been vetted really well by Jamie and Colleen and Rebecca Royston. Thank you. And that should make our work on the 25th, I think, a little bit easier in the end. Vermont School Board Association, that conference is coming up in November. It's on the Vermont School Board Association website. If you want Lori to register you, have conference money. You can go for 1 day or both days. Just email Lori and she'll get you registered, and then they'll bill the district. If you go on and register yourself, I think there's a place there to put purchase order or something. Just click that and they'll bill us for your time there without a doubt. And then I think other than that, we'll talk about your budget here. I know Brian tried, because he's just learning the process in Vermont. He tried to get an early jump on it. He met with Ed. He'll talk more about that as we go forward. We're begging, the superintendents in this region are begging the Agency of Education, much like probably our staff is begging us in the administrative level. No new initiatives. Let's try to just do what we're doing now well. I will tell you, there's been a lot of stuff that's been popping out there, including around the COVID, right? I mean, around the COVID condition, including this test to stay. We didn't realize how complicated this test to stay really is, and that it is personnel heavy and labor intensive, and it requires a whole lot of setup. I met with the nurses at length today with Otella from the hospital, and those principals who could sign on today signed on. But I will tell you that it's going to be a job if we're going to try to make this work. On the good side of it, the nurses always are trying to be cooperative and to make it work, but there's only so much you can lay on people's plates to have this happen. So we're going to meet one more time. We're thinking about also putting out a little video that explains test to stay, and then asking parents, in a survey form, because they have to give permission for this to happen. I mean, this testing happens outside, probably in the car as you pull up. It's not a terribly uncomfortable test, but it's not a terribly comfortable test either. And so we just want to get an idea of how many parents would participate, because the bottom line is, if we did test to stay and only half the class were going to participate, what do you do with the other half of the class, right? That has to be home. So we're trying to work out all of those mechanics and logistics before we kick this thing off, if we kick it off. But we'll see. The parents seem pretty excited with the first email, but I want to make sure they understand what it entails and what they're giving permission to happen when they sign up. I think that's about it, other than just thanking the staff in this building and in all of our buildings for the continued work that goes on. If there are any questions, I can answer those now. Jamie?
I have a quick one about the test to stay, and I'm not sure if you know the answer to that.
I might not.
So I know that it's a testing over 7 days. How do you accommodate?
Yeah, that's a good question, because we asked that very same question. And because you have to have a little bit of observation of the test as it's being given, that they would say, you can continue to test over the weekend, but we would still have to, if you did the 5 days on one side, you'd still have to be part of that following week. So that would have to be included in that 7-day cycle, right? So the weekends right now would not count. So, but that's a question we asked. There was a big training that went on. All of our nurses went to that training. It's actually, I think there's 2 more times that training is going to happen. But we are just learning that there's a little bit more involved in it than just testing. Oh, and I forgot to say, go Red Sox. But
How does the testing work for people who are vaccinated? Would you get a false positive?
yes, that's a very good. See, these are great questions. Here's the thing: if you are vaccinated, then you don't have to participate in test and stay, right? Because if you've had close contact but you're vaccinated, we're not going to quarantine you. The problem in our K-8 schools is we have a large share of kids who can't get vaccinated yet. Now, here's the other thing. I think this is important for our viewing public to hear, that there is still that sense that if we could get our schools to 80% vaccination, where they're vaccinated, then I think quarantining could go away. But we've got to get our schools to 80%. And right now, we're averaging at the high school, and they've been eligible for a while now, about 60%. So we've got to push that a little bit. And we haven't even opened it up yet for 12 and under. We did do that survey, which I haven't looked at the responses yet, asking parents, if it becomes available, would you vaccinate your child? But I will tell you, and I think some of you know this, that I personally think that as the town goes, so will go the kids, right? Because if the adults in the town are not getting vaccinated, I don't think they're going to ask their kids to get vaccinated. And right now, and this is certainly not a judgment, but it's a reality, you know, and we've talked about this before, both Wethersfield and Heartland, we think are kind of under-vaccinated. They're at about a 50% rate of vaccination. So we've just got to get that rate up, because what that's going to do is help keep our kids in school, because the agency has said once you reach that 80% vaccinated rate in your building, you can probably stop the quarantine and be a little bit more lax. There was a time when they were even saying stop the masking, but they're not saying that anymore. But we could probably stop the quarantine, because we know that 80% of our population is vaccinated. So the general thought is, and I know people have very personal opinions about this, but if you can get vaccinated and you are eligible to get vaccinated, it would be helpful to get vaccinated, because that's going to help us keep kids in school longer if this test to stay either doesn't work or becomes too cumbersome. Any other questions? We good? All right. Thanks.
Next, we'll move on to the items for discussion, and I just want to move the BAC update before the budget, because I think we should introduce our BAC members, and I don't know how many of them were able to make it to the meeting today.
I see at least 2 on.
Okay.
2 online?
Yeah, 2.
I'd like to thank Deb Ostrom,
I see all 3, actually.
Danielle Blake, and Susan Hindiger for volunteering to be on the BAC this year. Thank you very much. We really
Thank you.
appreciate it. Do we need to make a vote about them, or
It might be good to officially appoint them.
officially appoint them? Okay. Does anyone want to?
Who remembers those names?
I have written down.
Okay.
Give me a third one. I'd like to make a motion that we confirm Deb Ostrom, Daniel Blake, Susan Ingdiger, and I believe that's it, to the Budget Advisory Committee.
One second. I'll second that. Okay, Kristen seconded that. All in favor, say aye. Aye. That was unanimous.
Great, thanks to them.
Thank you very much. Yeah, we appreciate it. And now we're going to start talking about the budget. So I guess if you guys want to listen in, and also David, how will they set up their first meeting?
It'll actually probably be Brian in conjunction with Ed, just to make sure there's some availability. And I think you'll just coordinate a time, you know. for
Yeah,
us to
we'll
get-
reach out. I'll reach out.
We'll work at their convenience.
Yeah, I'll reach out to you guys as far as those of you that are on the budget advisory committee, and we'll figure out a time that works best for all of us, and so then we can meet, and then I can send you guys the preliminary budget, so what we've worked on so far.
Yeah.
So we'll figure out, we'll touch base tomorrow.
I know for one member, she's leaving on vacation tomorrow and she'll be back on the 23rd, but.
Okay, so we'll,
emails
yeah, I
and
can
stuff
still
are all
email
fine,
and
yeah.
we'll see.
Then we have virtual, we can always go virtual.
Yeah,
Not on
absolutely.
vacation.
Um,
But you started to put some numbers together, right, Brian? I mean, we're
Right,
not
so
gonna
do we just,
Yeah. go ahead
okay,
and give
so I
the-
met with Ed Connors and we did put some preliminary numbers in place. I sent those out to you on Friday and then resent them out because things change even after I sent stuff. So the second one was a little bit better than the first one, which was always nice. So we did send those preliminary numbers out. We're also working on teacher staffing for next year and what our class makeup is going to look like. So I can share that spreadsheet with you as well. And so we can make those decisions on where we want to, if we want to add, subtract, whatever we want to do as far as teaching staff. Right now, we currently have 24 prospects for kindergarten, which is good already. And this is something that's new to me because I'm not used to having kindergarten numbers this early. So 24, that would make up 2 classes right there for kindergarten. And then as we get more information, I'm meeting with Mrs. Oakman on Thursday to be able to go over some numbers again with her and get her take on it. BJ and I will be meeting with her Thursday morning around 9 o'clock to be able to go over some more stuff. So as soon as I get some more stuff, I'll be sharing it with you guys as well so that you guys are in the loop as much as possible and you guys get the information to digest it. So it's not something you get right before you start. So, because I know that's important for us to be able to look at it. So that's where we're at so far. Did you guys have any questions on anything that's on there? Maybe I can answer. And what's nice is all the function codes and everything, those are national codes. So I know some of those codes. So I knew more about the budget in Vermont than I thought I did. So that's even better. It's just the whole staffing part that's the part that's new to me.
And I didn't really have any questions. I guess the debt service, now that's the debt being paid on the building, right?
Correct. And so that'll go away in about 8 years,
About 8 million, that's what I was gonna ask. So
which will be nice because that'll be a nice little chunk that we have back
Yeah.
there to put more towards. I mean, obviously it's going to students right now because it's our building,
Yeah.
but that can directly go to students a little bit sooner.
And also, I was hoping as part of your figurings for the budget, if you could do, in Springfield, they do a thing for their town report where they project enrollment. And I would like to see our enrollment projected, especially for the high school enrollment.
Okay.
Because I think it would be good for us to be able to sort of prepare for like years when we might have an increase or decrease.
Okay.
So.
And I can work on that, with BJ's help, and we can get that to you.
So if I understand you, Rainey, you're talking about, and I don't know how Springfield does it, but maybe you could send a copy of that
Yeah.
to Brian. So he sees
Yeah, and
the
then you want
layout.
it K through 12.
But
correct?
essentially, rather
Yeah.
than just looking at where the 8th graders are going next year, maybe look at 6, 7, 8, so you got like a 3-year projection.
Yep.
Okay. And again, we also know, right, it's nobody's fault, but, you know, those high school members are the best guess you've got at that moment, right?
Yeah.
Some family moves in, and that's why I think a town like Weathersfield is attractive, because high school choice attracts people, but it's hard to predict who's gonna move in and just come here for high school. But that's a good idea, man, I like that.
Do you have any sort of average, like, say that over time we've had a 3%
Increase, yeah, I bet we could
and
look
we've
at
gone
that.
as far as a 10% increase
Yeah.
or something like that, so I'm just got some sort of variance.
Yeah, we could look over the last 5 years and see what that increase has been. That's a good idea.
You're talking about enrollment, increase and decrease?
Yeah, and high school enrollment.
Specifically
too.
for high school or in general?
High school.
Specifically.
And I mean, in general, it'd be great too, I mean, my heart keeps from doing it, but I wouldn't think. You know, like-
If we build one of those nature centers here, we're gonna have an increase in.
You can all get ID badges, it'll be much easier to track.
It's the snack shacks I'm looking
Yeah.
forward to.
With the unhealthy food for sure, so.
Are there any questions on?
Nope, I'm good.
Okay, so thank you again to the BAC volunteers, and Ryan will be in touch with you to set up your first meeting. So then next we have the ESSER 3 update. I believe that's Angie.
So the ESSER 3 requires us to have a meaningful consultation with the community. And so in addition to the surveys that were put out this summer, we would like to hold a community forum in each of the school districts in Windsor Southeast. And so I'm asking the board to help us determine a date. And the board, your role at the meeting, should you choose to attend, is to come as a community member. Brittany Preston, our recovery coordinator, and I will be leading the meeting. We want to invite public participation. We'll be sharing our recovery plan and then asking people what they think is needed, what, their comments on the recovery plan. Basically, a in-person version of what we tried to do with our summer approach. So, need a date? About an hour, we think will be sufficient.
And that's virtual,
And it will
right?
be a virtual meeting, yes.
Oh, okay, so
1 hour virtual. So should we look at our calendars or what do you want to do?
yeah, we can do that. How soon were you looking for? Like,
I have one scheduled on October 19th and one November 9th.
So who's October 18th?
The 19th is Heartland.
19th is Heartland?
Yeah.
Have you sent that invite out yet or no? Not yet?
No.
Okay.
The link is on the flyer for that.
Okay.
I haven't set it out to you. Would you like it? Maybe I should.
Since I didn't get the flyer, I
Yes.
left the link. That's good. No, that's fine. No problem. So you have one on the 19th and one on November what?
9th, I believe.
Okay, good. So those were what, they're both Thursdays or no?
Tuesdays.
Okay, good.
Was it, I'm sorry, was it October?
our board meeting.
Yeah.
And what time are those, the other two?
7 to 8. Just a second, let me look at the November. Oh, I misspoke. It's the 8th. That one's at 6:30 for Mount Stubby.
That's also 7 to 8, right?
Yeah, and that is
Is
on
that
your.
the same night as their board meeting?
No, they meet the first Monday,
Oh, they were.
so they'll meet on the 1st.
I would ask that we have it when there's not a game going on or some sort of sport.
Yeah, well, you know what, it might be between seasons for the middle to end of November.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I think soccer is the end of October.
Yeah, I think everything starts
That's
so,
like the last thing that I've seen on the calendar, is
Right.
the end of October, so probably the beginning of November is a good.
when is the board meeting?
Our board meeting is November 9th. So that would
So
be good.
probably, yeah, maybe not good to have. So you want to go to that next week of the 15th?
Yeah, that's.
Is that too late, Angie?
No, I think we can make it work.
Or do we want to go the week prior to that?
Can everybody do the 15th? That's a Monday night?
I can.
Jackie's pondering.
Well, our meeting is the 9th, and you said this will take about an hour.
About an hour, 7 to 8.
Can we just cut our agenda a little short next month and have it the same time as?
We could maybe start with that.
That's a
and
good
then have
idea.
our meeting after.
Yeah, maybe have that be like 6 to 7, then start your meeting?
Yeah.
Would that work,
That's a
Angie?
great idea.
That's a great idea, yep.
Okay.
And I can talk less about it.
And then you'll send a flyer out through the school.
So that's November 9th?
That's
your next meeting?
November, is that right?
Yeah,
9th?
November 9th. So from 6 to 7 will be the community forum, and then our meeting will start at 7.
Okay, good.
We should be able to be done by then.
That was too easy.
Do you have anything else?
Nope, that's it. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Andy.
You're welcome.
Can you also do, as far as the SU budget goes, do you want to talk about how it's going, or I very good on for this? So if you don't want to right now, that's fine.
Jamie's good under.
Just wondering if there's anything like Mark and I should know before the SU meeting, or if you want to maybe just tell us.
I mean, nothing
Okay.
that I'm aware of.
Yeah, I have it. I just sent
The very
the
first look
calendar.
was a lot of estimated numbers. Katie didn't really have a chance to really go through. She was still working on her piece, and we met last week, and she had done a phenomenal job and cut significantly on her piece. But there's
Her numbers and
nothing that is foreign.
Okay. Sounds good. I don't think we have any items for action. We already have nominated the BAC, so that's already taken care of. Setting the next agenda, so we just talked about the time for that. Our next meeting will actually start at 7 with the community forum proceeding it from 6 to 7.
I'm gonna. I just said.
Yeah, please accept our meeting.
Separate invite.
Yeah. As far as agenda items go, I guess sort of the same ones as this month.
Yeah, pretty much budget focus.
Yeah.
I think that's gonna take, yeah.
Oh, I think maybe we should also talk about athletics, or we could present.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah, because we'll have to be talking about
Yeah.
winter sports, yeah.
Right.
and we don't have any serious guidelines yet from the BPA, but I know the ADs are getting together to discuss protocols, because you just want to make sure if we have to be masked at Littleton, we have to be masked at Heartland, and, we got to keep it consistent, I think. I think that's coming up this week.
Would she have ideas of the numbers of participants at that time, or not yet?
I'll reach out to her. Find out.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's part of it.
Probably could. I mean, it would actually be good to do something like while you have all the soccer kiddos, say
Still
like.
together,
we're
yeah.
doing
Who's playing basketball?
Basketball, yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, so we can discuss that
Yeah. Thursday is
and ask her to come to next meeting.
yeah, that would be good to invite in next week. Yeah, that's a good idea. And all the ADs are supposed to be trying to bring their tentative numbers on Thursday, so maybe she's already done it. I don't know. We should probably remind her. Do you want to reach out to her, Brian?
Yep.
Okay.
I also was hoping to get just a little update on how things are going with it.
Yeah.
'Cause I know there's supposed to be a turnover as far as the membership goes.
Right.
I don't know how that's going. If we're
Yeah, I don't think that we.
Have they met yet?
No.
This year? No.
No.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't.
And no request for proposals yet, right?
Right.
Yeah.
But people can't come into the school yet, right?
Yeah,
I
exactly.
know it is kind of a.
Kind of a catch
I was
22.
actually one of the things I was thinking of was maybe for Hicks Nichols. I know, there was the cross country ski
Right.
event there. That might be a good thing to
Yeah.
do.
Yeah.
Okay. And anything else anybody else wants to add? Diana?
So I heard you all talking about basketball, and I know it's Dr. Baker mentioned it's in the beginning stages, but currently we're not letting parents or community members come into the school. If we were to start basketball, then we would have practices and games where community members and parents would be coming into the building.
Well, could somebody remind me, what did we do with basketball last? Did we do basketball last year? Do you remember, Diane?
No, we didn't. Weathersfield
Okay.
did not do basketball last year. They did that that clinic that Larry did and some other people where it was Saturdays, like 9 to 10 for the middle level boys and then 10 to 11 the middle level girls, something like that last year at the Windsor gym.
Well, I think there are, now that we're moving inside, I think the decisions that we have to think about and talk about, and the ADs need to get board input on, which Jessica can do at the next board meeting. I think you're right. There's a difference between a basketball season and spectators, right? So we have to decide on whether or not we're going to allow spectators. There's also been some conversation about, you have to be vaccinated to play. I mean, I'm just talking about ideas that are kicked around out there, right? And then the other one is around masking. And we're hoping the VPA leads us on this one, because last year at the high school level, that's why I asked about middle school, they did have a basketball season, but everybody had to be masked. There were no spectators, and we had no vaccinations at that point, so that wasn't an issue. But I think these are some of the things that, the ADs have to get feedback from their boards, and then we have to make some decisions. I mean, they're somewhat local decisions. I mean, I don't say we have to be exactly the same, but I think it's going to be a lot easier if we are the same on those expectations. But I think your point is well taken, Diana.
I think we all the risk of the kids are gonna play elsewhere. We have
Right.
to let them, right? So that's
Right.
always I remember last year, well, Ludlow had a team and most of our girls played there. So
Right.
it's well, are you gonna do you want them to be both
Right.
with their own cause or with others?
Or their own school.
So I know, and it's just.
Yeah, right.
Do you know, did the Ludlow games have spectators or were they?
No.
Was last year, right?
Yeah.
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 When does the season conclude?
End of December?
We've got probably till December. Yeah, it starts sometime in December. Some people even start it later, like in January, because it's a long season. Very long.
I can't imagine that it would be safe to open up games to the public if you've got a 50%.
I agree. I think it's part of the casualty of that kind of rate. Yeah, I agree.
That's a choice we're choosing as a community.
Yeah. Yeah.
I guess that's it. A good agenda for next time.
That's a busy agenda.
Yes. We want to keep it short. We only have.
Becky, did you get all those items?
I was just going to ask you to repeat them because I can hear you really well.
If you want me to repeat? Yeah, that's a big
Yeah.
mouth for you. Yeah, so it's the budget, FY23 budget.
Okay, I have that.
Athletics,
I have that.
COVID update or updates.
Yeah.
Hicks Nichols updates or update.
That's the one I didn't hear. Okay.
Nichols update. And then is that it? Yeah.
Can we get another teacher negotiation update? Or?
Yeah, and maybe we might. I would put. I think teacher negotiation could go on there, and the COVID update and the teacher negotiation could go into my report. I also think the SU budget, because what we'll do is on the 25th we'll present it to the SU. We won't expect a vote until November. That gives the boards a chance to just talk about it as boards, and then come back in November. So I think we could put FY23 budget and SU budget on next month's Weathersfield agenda.
Yep.
You good?
Okay.
Yes. Also starts at 7.
7 o'clock, yeah. So, yeah.
Yeah,
So
I heard that part. 7 to.
make sure the invite is up. But make sure Lori knows that too. I'll tell her, but just so we're all on the same page.
And then I just sort of wanted to read over our radar list. Teacher staff recognition. Not that yet.
Nothing new on that one.
We have a lot of stuff with the school town working together, so that's good. Middle school model, you guys are working on. Mental health help.
Show that tonight,
We
yeah.
heard about that tonight. the health class, I was gonna ask now, you were talking about something like an SU kind of shared.
Yeah, I think what's gonna happen on that, and because what we tried to do at the SU level was no new positions, but I think that SU board, and there might be enough wiggle room with the numbers that we're looking at now, and the work that Katie did to consider some positions. I mean, there was the health position, there was also, there was that food service program coordinator position that we talked about, and then there's that diversity and equity, so those are three positions that we can talk about, and we've also got, that's why Angie wants to have that forum. We also have ESSER funding for some of that stuff. I mean, you have to justify it with respect to your recovery plan, but I think that.
Angie, is that, if I can for a second, is that the health teacher, shared health teacher amongst the whole district? Is that something you feel could fall under the guise of the ESSER 3?
Yes,
Good, thank you.
yes, because it includes not only physical health, and it's mental health and safety, so, yeah.
And the same thing with the DEI, the diversity and equity person. I mean, so I'm not saying we need to jam those into the SU budget, but we need to keep them on the radar, and that's why you have your radar list.
There we go.
Yeah.
And then I know foreign language, we're sort of putting on the back burner because we don't want to add too much stress to all teachers already seeing. So we're going to hold off on that a little bit, but just so we know it's something that we want to do. And community outreach, I guess the community forum is
Community forum is good outreach.
And Brian's been out there and he's doing the
keynote,
the speech.
The 15-minute,
and then also our core values and mission and vision.
Yeah, because that's going to be another community input, right? Yeah.
All right, well, I think, is there any reason for executive session? So I guess I'll take a motion to adjourn.
Wow.
This might be a record.
And that was Kristen,
You're getting
right?
really good at this.
Yeah.
Seconded by Mark. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Nice.
Okay.
I'm going to stop recording, and
Thank you,
thank you, everybody, for coming.